Hello, School District of Lee County families. The purpose of today's presentation is to present you with some wellness resources for families during this COVID-19 time of remote education. So tonight's presentation is going to cover the following topics: talking to your child, how to exercise some self-care as a parent or caregiver, coping with stress and helping your child cope with any stress he or she may be experiencing due to this change in circumstances, reducing anxiety, and further resources for you to use with your children or to assist your children. All of the resources that we discussed today or are presented on these slides will be available under the COVID-19 section of leeschools.net, and that's on the banner on the welcome page. You will see a graphic and you may click that, and that contains all of the district information about COVID-19, including these resources. And we also have a special banner on the Mental Health and Wellness portal. So if you are on our Mental Health and Wellness portal for other resources, you can also access these resources for wellness related to the COVID-19 situation. So the first topic is really how to talk to your child about COVID-19. And if you've been receiving some of our information already from the district, you've received some talking points. And the most important thing about talking to your children is to keep information developmentally appropriate. So adults at home and at school are taking care of your children's health and safety. And obviously, as parents and caregivers, you are, as much as our schools have been. So these are the pieces our students need to be reassured that we're taking care of their health and safety, that not everyone will get the corona or COVID-19 virus. And it's really important that we treat each other with respect and not jump to conclusions about who may or may not have COVID-19. And that's really important for our children to remember as well. So all human beings want to focus on the things they can control, and children are no different. And if we can help them focus on their locus of control, these are some of the things that we all can do to stay healthy and avoid spreading the disease. So reviewing with your child all of the safety behaviors that you've seen, and it's on our district website as well, things we can follow to control our own health, and that is hand washing, covering our mouths when we cough or sneeze, social distancing, cleaning surfaces. These are all items that we as adults are doing to make sure that we minimize our potential exposure. And we also can remind our children that they can do these very same things, and those are things that we can control in order to minimize our exposure at this time. Now, coping with stress, that can be a challenge for any given day, but let alone under these types of circumstances. And it's really important, too, that we as parents and caregivers exercise self-care. When you are on an airplane and they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can then care for the needs of your child, this is the same type of situation. Infectious disease outbreaks such as COVID-19, as well as other public health events, can cause emotional distress and anxiety. And so feeling anxious or confused, overwhelmed or powerless is common during situations such as this. And these feelings of distress and anxiety can occur even if we're not in a high-risk group for COVID-19. So even for ourselves, parents, we need to set a limit on media consumption, including social media, local or national news. We need to be careful that we're not overwatching and consuming large amounts of this information almost on a repeat reel. And we can stay active. Getting enough sleep and rest is critical, and staying hydrated, avoiding excessive caffeine and alcohol, and eating healthy foods when possible. We can take this time to connect with loved ones and others as well, and talk about our feelings, and actually even enjoy conversation unrelated to this outbreak, and take a break from that and really just talk about other things. Take time to laugh. Laughter is so important in this case. And then really ensuring that we as adults get accurate health information from reputable sources. And remember, for health information about COVID-19, you would want to reach out to the Centers for Disease Control for their updates. And also remember, on leeschools.net, those are the very same sources we are using to share information with families. Now, when we cope with our own stress, we are better equipped to cope with our child's stress and really help them through this. Now, you may have children that are not experiencing any change in behavior or affect because of this, and if that's the case, great. And yet you may have some that are just really kind of picking up on what they're hearing or any changes in our mood or our ability to work through some of these new feelings. And so the more we can reassure our children, the better that they will be equipped to move through this time in our world at this point. So some common changes to watch for in your child, they include excessive crying or irritation in younger children, sometimes regressive behaviors they have outgrown, for example, toileting accidents or bedwetting, excessive worry or anxiousness or sadness, and then also changes in sleeping patterns or unhealthy eating. Some other behaviors or changes that you may want to watch for in your child, irritability or acting out behaviors in teens. Any of you that are raising teenagers right now might think, well, that's kind of hard to discern at times, but you are your children's first and finest teachers, and you know your child best. So if any of that behavior seems different, that would be an important item to notice. Poor school performance or avoiding school, difficulty with attendance and concentration, avoiding activities that your child previously enjoyed in the past, unexplained headaches or body pain, and then also the use of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. These are just some items that can indicate stress in your child. So what do we do for our children, whether they're exhibiting signs of stress or not? How can we really work with our kiddos to make sure that they're doing okay during this time? Well, we're all at home. And many of us are working at home as we're trying to also now do supportive education of our children while they're experiencing their education through Google Classroom starting next Monday. This is an excellent time to find time to talk with your child or your teen about COVID-19. A lot of us, as we take our kids to school or pick them up and take them home, we enjoy talking to them in the car because it's a time when they just talk to us. And so we may not have those opportunities where we have those kind of car chats. And so this would be a great time to have your child cook dinner with you or bake some cookies or just sit and talk about things and try to work this into that conversation. And reassure your child or teen that they are safe. And of course, limiting the family's exposure to news coverage of the event, including social media, and maybe instead doing just one time of day where you get the news updates or you check online for any breaking events. Try to keep up with regular routines. And if your children are out of a routine, which naturally they will be because we don't have bell-to-bell school. Trying to keep up with routines, but also with educating at home, remembering too that, in some of the other videos you may have heard that we want to try not to do school for 7 hours straight. There has to be some break in that education. And so you might set up some new routines throughout the school day, for lack of a better term, but your regular family routines would be really important to continue to adhere to them while you're exploring kind of a new way of doing school from 8 o'clock till 3 or whatever your typical day is. Be creative about new activities and exercise. While our teachers are going to be providing really meaningful standards-based instruction and activities, there are other ways that you can also supplement that. And there are a lot of groups out there that are posting really innovative but easy activities that parents can use at home to connect with their children while they're also supporting the very things they're learning in school. So there are a few more things that you can do to support your child, and please remember that all of these resources are available, including the links to the full documents. If you would like to read, each of the resources we've provided to you are from those reputable websites such as the CDC and many others, so that you can actually read these particular documents. As a role model, remember to take breaks and get plenty of sleep, exercise, and eat well. And if children see you connecting virtually with your friends and within the home, within your own family, they will tend to pick up on that behavior and do the same. And it's completely understandable to be anxious right now. I think we're all feeling that at different points during our day. But how we manage that anxiety has such an impact on our children because, again, we are their best and first teachers. Make yourself available to your children. So if you're working virtually at home, you too are going to need some brain breaks as well, because your workday has those types of opportunities typically embedded in them. And as your children are learning online, they need those opportunities too. So when you make yourself available to your child for those small segments of time during the day or for several segments of time in the evening, they're more inclined then to talk and share with you. Stay in touch virtually, and you can encourage your children to also keep in touch with their friends virtually during this time. Make plans. So it's important to be proactive about what we can control. We've talked about that earlier, about our locus of control, the things that we know we can do that make us feel safe and help us to understand that even though right now COVID-19 is around us and a lot of things seem like they're being done external to our ability to make choices, we do have the ability to make plans and to visualize, what else could we do during this time and even after this time in our history is over, to look forward to things when we're back at work and able to take family vacations and do things like that. You think about how your kids can also have virtual play dates, and what can your family do outside that would keep social distancing but also have fun? What are your favorite foods you can cook during this time? And so as you and your family problem solve through this, I think you can provide your children with things to look forward to even in the short term. And keep it positive. And then check in with younger children. As we know, young children, they may be oblivious to the facts or the situation, but they definitely can still feel unsettled because they pick up on the anxiety, the changes in routine, and they pick up on the fact that we're a little bit concerned or worried or upset. So it's important to really check in with the youngers and make sure they're doing okay. Keep in mind that behavior of our children typically indicates a function behind the behavior. So you may have a child who's having more tantrums than they've had in the past. And it's important too, if they're defiant or acting out, they may actually be feeling anxious. And asking even our young ones, tell me what's going on. What are you feeling right now? You can check in with them and really identify what is the behavior behind, or what is the motive behind the behavior? And let's focus on the motive to really drill into, are they feeling worried or anxious or having some anxiety? And so we need to pick a calm, undistracted time to gently ask our children how they're feeling and to make sure we respond to outbursts in a calm, consistent, and comforting way, because there's usually something deeper going on for them. So we're almost finished with our video, and let's talk now about techniques for reducing anxiety. So parents and caregivers can assist their children by being present in the moment. And by being present, this is a short activity that you can do with them. Sit with your child and ask them to focus on their senses. For 60 seconds, they need to focus on what they're feeling, what it is that they're touching, what it is that they may be tasting, and what do they see. So you can do this for 60 seconds on each of these topics. And I mean, you could what can you taste? We used to do this when I was a child, blindfold, and, what is it that I just placed into your mouth or asked you to place in your mouth? We used to kind of play that game when I was growing up, and it really grounds someone because they're only focused for 60 seconds on that one thing. And so you can do this with your children to really ground them and help them soothe. Even if they don't seem agitated, this is a really good anxiety reduction technique. And if you do this once a day, even when they're not anxious, you're building a skill that they can use to help them relax themselves when they are. You can also do some distraction for your child. There may be a time they're feeling anxious or they just need a break. You can ask them to help you with something, ask them to help you with a task. You can go outside and just play with them for a little bit. Sing a silly song. We've done this with our kids or our grandkids, or make one up. You can just put music on and let them dance and have fun. Or they can engage in drawing, coloring, writing, whatever it is that they enjoy doing. Take a break and provide time for that as well. Now, we've covered a lot in this short presentation. And so again, these resources in their longer format are available on the COVID-19 section of leeschools.net. It's a banner on the welcome page when you get to leeschools.net. This will be embedded in all the other information the district has shared. Likewise, if you are on the Lee Schools Mental Health and Wellness portal, you can access that as well on the Mental Health and Wellness portal, and it's in a banner across the top of that portal, so you can easily find it. And then what do you do as a parent, guardian, or caregiver when you're trying to do all of those parenting pieces and you're still worried about your child's well-being? Well, we have supports for you through the school counselor and our other team members. And so the reason we say please call your school counselor for additional support and assistance is you can call your school's main number and they will connect you to the school counselor, because those are our folks that do some of that initial support and also try to determine with you if you have need for additional support beyond what the school can provide. You can also access your school counselor via email. They're all posted on your school's website. And then also, since you'll be accessing your students' Google Classroom as you're monitoring their instruction, you can also, there's an announcement on the students' Google Classrooms at the top that says parents and students. You can use the CASEL request to see the counselor and type in your request, and the counselor will reach out to you to offer support and have those conversations. We have a couple of online resources that also may be of assistance to you with your child. So Mind Yeti is a mindfulness program that has sessions online that will naturally assist in reducing anxiety. It's designed explicitly for educators and families to do alongside younger children or for older children to do on their own. Mind Yeti provides a great way for everyone to practice mindfulness during this difficult time. We also have Little Children Big Challenges, and these materials are aimed at building resiliency in children, and they may be useful for educators and families alike. Resiliency is key for our children. The more resilient we can actually help them to become, the more that they will work through life's challenges, because they'll have a toolbox as they grow to use those resiliency tools on their own. And then Parent Teen Connect helps teens and adults in their lives address hot button topics. So while we may not have a specific focus in Parent Teen Connect on something related to COVID-19, this might be a really good time for you to check this out as a parent and use this as an opportunity to try and talk with your kids about some things we're concerned about as they move through their teen years. And they probably also have on there some tools for anxiety and other resources for families. Sorry about that. Okay, well, that's the end of our presentation. And again, if you would please visit our website where we have active links for each of these resources so that you can read at your leisure and also access Mind Yeti, Little Children Big Challenges, Parent Teen Connect, and some other tools that we did not have the specific opportunity to mention today. Our role is to support you. Our role is to support our students, our teachers, our parents and guardians and caregivers. We are here for you. Please reach out to your child's school, and they will connect you to all the appropriate resources, because we are all in this together, and together we will help our children through this. Thank you.